freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same. And if you and I don't do this, then you and I may well spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 339 of Gun Freedom Radio, where we engage, we educate, and we inform. We are brought to you by azfirearmsauctions.com, where you set the price on guns, ammo, and accessories. I am one of your hosts, Cheryl Todd.
And I'm the other guy, Dan Todd. Our theme today is the 2021 Gun Rights Policy Conference, and our guest is Alan Gottlieb. Alan is the founder of the Second Amendment Foundation, which is dedicated to promoting a better understanding about our constitutional heritage to privately own and possess firearms. Alan is also the author or co-author of numerous books, including Things You Can Do to Defend Your Gun Rights and Assault on Weapons, the campaign to eliminate your guns.
Absolutely. Welcome back to the show, Alan.
It's always great to be with both of you. Thank you.
Absolutely. And so, as we said, it's almost time for the GRPC again. Give us kind of the rundown on what we can expect this year.
Amazing how quickly a year can go, isn't it, Cheryl? This year's Gun Rights Policy Conference is going to be September 25th and 26th, Saturday and Sunday. And of course, this year we're again live streamed rather than being me getting a chance to meet in person due to the COVID still hanging around. What we can expect? Well, we're going to have a few less speakers than we did last year because we decided last year when we were going to go online that we'd expand it. And quite frankly, I think we expanded it too much for a lot of people and gave them a bit of an overload. So we're going to come back to the normal number of speakers we would normally have if we had it, live in person. And we're going to probably be dealing with everything that's out there with Second Amendment issues, including how COVID has affected the 2A community in doing our lobbying and our litigation and everything else, because it's obviously changed the dynamics of how we work. We'll be covering everything from legislation going on federally and in the states to litigation, which is very, very heavy right now all across the country, including a U.S. Supreme Court case coming up. We'll be discussing everything you can think of about gun rights, the Chipman nomination, and how that's been handled both by the administration and by the gun rights community in fighting it. The arm brace, the ATF trying to put new regulations on arm braces. We're covering a lion's share of everything that's going on. It's basically going to be again the place where it's the who's who in the gun rights movement speaking, I've been really proud this year that I've had very little hands-on with it, to be candid. The staff has really pretty much done it all. I've been very, very heavily engaged in a lot of our efforts, both in media, running TV and radio spots nationally, and on the internet as well, the litigation and legislation stuff and fighting the Chipman nomination. So I've really left it to the staff, and they've so far done a very marvelous job, and everything is on schedule and looks good.
Well, Alan, with all the stuff going on, you're not hearing things in the news about gun stuff, but they're secretly doing it, right?
Yeah, it's interesting how the media shields the anti-gun movement in this country, and so when they go on the attack and on offensive and they do things, it doesn't necessarily get reported. So a lot of our gun owners don't realize just how much their rights are really under attack and what's really happening. That's why shows like yours are so important. To help get the word out. It's been a crazy year for us, and we've held our own very, very well, which we'll be discussing again at the Gun Rights Policy Conference, because quite honestly, we've had more thrown at us this year against our rights than we probably ever had, and we're still holding our own, we're still standing, and our rights are still intact, And in many cases, they've been expanded. We have a lot more sanctuary cities and counties around the country. We have a lot more constitutional carry states, states where you don't even need a permit to carry a firearm for self-protection. Things are looking really, really good. So despite the fact that we've had everything thrown at us, the gun rights movement's done a really good job, from boots on the ground, the local activists, all the way up to the national groups. And I'm really proud of us this year.
Well, I have to agree with you as far as, having pride in the work that's being put in to pushing back. And, I think that with this heavy push with this latest administration, trying to write in new laws and bring this Chipman guy on as the head of the ATF. And, a lot of these things, it is waking people up and activating more people, making them realize that, it really does come down to each and every single one of us. But to Dan's point, with things like, Afghanistan, what's going on over there, obviously we need to hear that news. We need to know what's going on with that. But if we aren't looking beyond, the top 5 headlines, I think people might start, getting refocused and getting off message, getting off topic about how much of an assault there is on our Second Amendment rights every single minute of every single day, especially under this current administration. And you alluded to a few of the court cases that the Second Amendment Foundation specifically is involved in. Can you take us through a few more of those, just to bring those top of mind for people about, what needs to have our attention focused on it?
Sure. But before I do that, I just want to, talk about for a second, in 2020, we had a record number of new first-time gun buyers, which seems to be continuing pretty heavily into 2021. And one of the things that's helped the gun rights movement is that a lot of these new first-time gun buyers now getting involved in defending their gun rights. Now that they own a firearm for the first time, they want to make sure they can keep it. And they're pretty much in tune and aware of two things. One, that when they were told how easy it is to buy a gun, they found that that's not necessarily the case with all the laws and regulations. And second of all, they've now seen that, the Biden administration wants to expand those and make it even harder. The fact that Biden has come out now and said he's even in favor of banning 9mm pistols, it shows you just how extreme they really are. This is energizing, getting more people involved in our cause. And of course, we to find those people, we've done a lot of TV, radio advertising, and internet ads to help bring them into the movement, and it's working. In fact, last week alone, we brought in 20,000 new supporters of gun rights through the TV and radio and internet ads. So
that's amazing.
It really is amazing. So it's not like the message isn't getting out. The problem is we have to pay to get it out, where the other side gets it out for free. That's really the difference. The other thing that's been great for us, I'll address your question now, is all the gun rights legal cases. The Second Amendment Foundation is involved with around 40 cases going on currently in the courts, from a key amicus brief in the New York carry case that's going to be heard by the U.S. Supreme Court coming up in their October term, to cases all across the country. In fact, we just filed one this week that in Illinois against the Cook County, which is basically Chicago's so-called assault weapons ban in federal court. And what we're trying to do is load up the federal courts with cases that deal with right to carry, to deal with banning semi-automatic, sporting rifles, dealing with the 18 to 21-year-old young adults, where they're either banned from buying guns, gun possession, or getting permits to carry, to magazine bans. We just recently, one of our big cases, we overturned the assault weapon ban in the state of California, which of course the state's appealing. But right now we have the win on it, and hopefully that we can get one of these so-called assault weapon ban cases all the way to the Supreme Court as well. And we're dealing with things like, gun shows on public property, cases. We're dealing with restoration of rights cases. And we're across the whole gamut of things. We have a very important case we just won at the appeals court level in Pennsylvania, federal appeals court in Pennsylvania, dealing with the right of or stopping, government jurisdictions from via zoning laws, from banning gun clubs, gun ranges, gun stores, which hopefully is going to keep going up the chain and have major impacts nationally to help protect firearms industry so that gun stores, gun ranges, and gun clubs are protected by the Second Amendment as well. And so it's been very, very busy for us. Normally, summertime gets a little slower on the legal side. This summer, that hasn't been the case.
Absolutely not. And, the SAF, you guys have such a mountain in front of you all the time of cases to be watching for, to be interacting with, to follow up on. And this requires a ton of time, a lot of lawyers working on this, and unfortunately, a lot of money. But I believe with 20,000 new members, people are seeing the importance of supporting organizations like the SAF, the Second Amendment Foundation. And we do have to support it with our dollars and put our money where our mouth is, where our rights are. Just real quickly, how would people help to support, either if they're not a member yet and want to be, or if they're already a member and say, you know what, these cases are too important. My rights are too important. I would like to donate some more money.
Yeah, well, people can either join and or donate. You don't have to be a member to be a donor, so you can do either one. And the easiest way to do it is just go to our website at saf.org, samalphafrank.org, and just click on the donate or join page, join link. And also while you're up there, you can get all the information on the Gun Rights Policy Conference. You can register for it as well online. You get all the announcements about what's going on with it at saf.org. In addition to that, all our legal cases are there, and our news releases, everything we're working on, including something I'm really excited about is our latest TV commercial that goes after the Biden and his administration, what they're trying to do to us, which is educating millions of people every week nationwide on national television about the threats that we face under Biden's presidency. So again, it's saf.org, and it's chock full of information.
Absolutely. So I saw a headline recently, and you have a great new head of your media, if I'm saying that right, in a man named Lee Williams, so the gun writer. It might have been one of his pieces talking about how this Bloomberg funded Everytown for whatever their deal is, right? For gun safety, in air quotes.
Do they teach people in those classes in that?
As far as I know, they have 0 safety classes, firearms training classes, this Everytown. So I'm not quite sure how they get away with their phraseology, but it's America, freedom of speech. They can do what they want. They can say what they want. But from what I understand, they have put together a new arm of their organization that the whole purpose of it is to continuously try to drown out the Second Amendment period, and to overwhelm financially and time-wise those of us who are trying desperately to protect that precious inheritance.
Yeah, well, I guess Bloomberg and his Everytown for so-called gun safety, which is the idea of gun safety is gun prohibition. They really have mega millions of dollars they spend on this kind of stuff. That's why we set up to try and compete with it. They've set up something called the Trace, and they put out all kinds of research and investigative journalism on their side to go after guns and gun rights. So we've hired Lee Williams as our chief investigative reporter for the Second Amendment Foundation's investigative journalism project, and he's done some marvelous work exposing stuff on the other side that the dominant media, legacy dominant media in this country refuses to ever publish or put out. And we're reaching lots of people with it. In fact, Lee told me the other day that his last piece reached well over 1 million readers on multiple websites across the country, because we have lots of websites taking our stuff now. We're feeding it out to everybody to use so that they can help spread the information. And Lee's done a marvelous job, and we're really glad to have him on board.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. I think that was
again, his stuff is, if you go to the Second Amendment Foundation's website and pull down the tabs on resources for the investigative journalism project, you can read all of his stuff. It's really good, and it's really important and really informative.
Absolutely. And on the topic of journalism, actual journalism that, tells our side of the story.
You mean truthful stuff?
Truthful stuff.
Okay.
There's a big event coming up. I think we are in our 4th or 5th year of it. It's called AmCon. And so what this event, I'm on the planning committee and I get to be one of the MCs. So I keep saying we. So
Thank you for your work.
absolutely. It's an honor. It's a privilege. So we are designed to help network with other Second Amendment journalists and media people, bloggers, podcasters, to educate. It's really an educational weekend. And when this idea first floated, the Second Amendment Foundation just gave us full support. You are our most consistent and our very first sponsor. And I just wonder, what was it that made you realize, the Second Amendment Foundation realized, that something like AmCon would be so important?
Well, over the years, the Second Amendment community has really grown up media-wise with a number of people, independent journalists, bloggers, radio talk show hosts, and lots of people who get information on the internet. And it was important for them to come together and help plot, plan strategy for, reaching our people that legacy, dominant media tends to ignore our stuff. So we could have a pipeline to get information out. And for all the gun rights groups in the country, if there's no way to get information out, a lot of our work goes unnoticed and unrealized and has no effect. So it was really kind of important. So early on, we were really glad to be, I guess, the first sponsor. But now, AmCon is actually a project of the Second Amendment Foundation, and we at this juncture we're totally funding it basically, and we think it's that important, and it's helped bring the whole Second Amendment community in the resource area of communications in all forms of communications, to the forefront and getting them all engaged, involved, and networking together. So I'm really kind of excited about it, and I'm hoping over time, after the COVID pandemic disappears, and we're able to spend some more time on it and grow it and make it bigger, that it's going to even have a more important role. Again, this year it's actually meeting, since it's not as big a conference as the Gun Rights Policy Conference. At this point, the plans are still to meet in person live, and hope you'll give some information out, and since you're on the planning committee, of where it is and how people get engaged in it. And I believe I'd be shocked if it's not going to be live streamed so that everybody can watch it anyway. But I think it's a very important event for people who want to get engaged or aren't already involved in communications with regard to Second Amendment rights.
Absolutely. So it is this year live in Dallas. And so it's going to be the weekend. We're actually going 2 days this year for the first time. So we're going to go the Saturday and the Sunday, October 2nd and 3rd. And it's at the Westin Dallas Fort Worth Airport Hotel. And so people can fly right into Fort Worth, stay right in the hotel. It's super convenient. And yes, while we were talking, I double checked to be sure that it is going to be live streamed on the AmCon page. So there's a Facebook page for our group. That's AMM-CON. And it's just a tremendous opportunity for those of us who are just citizen journalists, right? Dan and I don't have any special degrees in journalism.
Well, they can tell with me.
we just decided that we needed to start speaking up, and we wanted to have the opportunity to interview amazing people who are subject matter experts like yourself. And we thought, as long as we're learning from you, we might as well use all this technology that we are so fortunate to have at this time and place in history. And as we're learning, we'll have a microphone in front of you. Now we can have Zoom, because we started out as a radio show and now we are podcast style. We can have this wonderful face-to-face, although we're across the nation from each other. And as we have an event like AmCon, we're learning more ways to do what we do better. And we're trying to encourage other people to realize the power that they have as individual citizen journalists speaking from their area of expertise. We really all are subject matter experts in something, right, Alan?
Yeah, I mean, I am kind of serves a really great purpose for the Second Amendment movement, and its impact is greater than people realize, because it really, it's sort of the network. It just keeps spreading the information from one place to another and keeps bouncing it around. And it reaches millions and millions of people overall. And so it's really great to have everybody sort of on the same page, moving in the same direction, and knowing, what's coming up, what's important, and techniques on how to do it. Technology, as you guys are aware, changes yearly. Everything is different. And so we need to be on the cutting edge of all methods of communication. And AmComm serves that purpose.
Absolutely. And we so appreciate the support that the Second Amendment Foundation has given us from the beginning, and are excited to now be, so enjoined with the work that the Second Amendment Foundation does. So just as we wrap up, let's focus back on the Gun Rights Policy Conference. Tell folks once again, what is the core mission of this annual event that you've had for, holy cow, I've lost track. How many years have we done this now?
It's the 36th annual one. Wow, I know the years go really fast. When we first started, the very first one only had about 70 people. And the main concept of it was to get the national gun rights groups working together. One place where they could at least sit down and each year and communicate and plot and plan and help, know what everybody was doing and work together. Then it grew bigger than that, started to get a lot of the grassroots groups involved nationwide over the years so that they could engage and work together as well. And then it expanded out bigger than that. And now it basically is the gun rights event of the year that lots of gun rights activists attend, either these days, the last few years, virtually or in person. I miss the in-person part because the networking is really an important aspect of it all. But it's a place where you can meet everybody in one place, and it's the one time a year where we can all come together. And it's serving this a very, very important purpose. It's become an institution in its own.
Absolutely, it is, and we so appreciate the work that goes into that every year. And I love, as you said at the beginning, that you've pretty much delegated now all of those planning issues to your team, because it does take a team to put something of that magnitude together, and they do it brilliantly every single year. Last year being the first digital version, it was seamless. That was a complete redo of the whole thing after 30 plus years. And so I'm excited for this year as well. We can sit in the comfort of wherever we are with our tablet, our laptop, our smartphone, and be able to learn from all of the people that you brought together as speakers. And it's tremendous.
It'll be live streamed on multiple platforms, Facebook, YouTube, other places as well, so that everyone can access it pretty easily. And then, of course, it's archived, and so you can go back to it or do it at your leisure, part by part, because it's a lot of hours. I mean, I believe it's well over 10 hours of programming.
Wow.
And so it's hard to sit down, online and do that all in one shot, but you'll be able to do it in parts if you choose to do it that way as well. You get all the information for it at saf.org.
Fantastic. Alan, thank you so much. I so appreciate all the work that you do and you continue to do. And there's probably 5 court cases that have popped up needing your attention while we were sitting here doing this. So we will let you get to it.
Thank you. And again, thanks for the opportunity to be with both of you. And I hope to see you live in person soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Alan.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks so
Bye-bye.
much. Bye-bye.
I can't believe, a lot of people don't understand. Right now, there's no talk about gun control on the news. It's all about Afghanistan.
Yes.
But that's
It's
super scary.
If
dangerous.
it was a newspaper, it'd be like page 30,
Right. It's very dangerous because they're still working on that.
Mhm.
They're not going to stop. So be aware of that. And, just simple things like city ordinances that say no more gun shows at the Coliseum. Like we have a big fairgrounds here in Phoenix. And all it would take for city council to say, you know what, we don't want to have gun shows anymore. And that would stop. And it's people like Alan's group, the Second Amendment Foundation, that prevent that from happening because it's a public place.
Mhm.
Yes, it's controlled by the state for the public. The public owns it.
Mhm.
And for them to say, we don't want this kind of exposition at our grounds is unconstitutional.
Right. Yeah. Who's the we? Who's
Right.
the we that doesn't want that?
7 people.
right?
maybe 7 people that just decide that, we don't like guns, so we don't think anybody should be able to do that. It
And-
happened in California. California used to have one of the biggest gun shows. You couldn't go through it in a day. It was building after building after building. And, you could go there and empty truck and come back with a full truck. And one day they just said, you know what? We don't want gun shows there anymore.
Yeah, again, this we,
Right.
this
they
magical,
stopped it.
mysterious we
Right.
that doesn't want
It's
this.
not the people, it's the group. I guess it is people because we vote these people in, but they do things that are way beyond their scope of what they should be doing.
Well, one of our favorite movies, right, is called The Edge. It's
The
titled
Edge,
The
yes.
Edge. And it's, oh gosh, Anthony Hopkins and
Alec Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin. And my favorite line from this movie is, what one man can do, another can do.
So can
And-
another.
And so Anthony Hopkins says that line over and over again because he's trying to encourage Alec Baldwin. And, it's followed up by, we're going to kill the bear, right? The bear. So because they're out in the wilderness and there's this bear tracking them and they're lost and all this kind of stuff. And they could be defeated. They could say, well, there's only 2 of us. We're out here in the wilderness and, we're going to give up. But Anthony Hopkins said, what one man can do, another can do. We're going to kill the bear.
And Alec Baldwin was kind of like a weasel, wasn't he? Yeah, he was a bad guy. He's, just
he was
acting-
more of a, he looked good.
Non-Trump
He was a
supporter,
pretty
yeah.
boy. And anyway, not to get too far off track, but that attitude, that can-do attitude, that there is no obstacle too big. And if the other side's voice is loud, if the other side's voice can be heard and can change things as drastically as we've seen from
Right.
the inception of when our inheritance was written out in the Bill of Rights and our Constitution, if the other side can do what it has done, our side can do it too. We
Well-
can move that line right back to where our founders placed it if we will speak up.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because, okay, so the bear screaming, yelling, doing its thing, Anthony Hopkins had no choice. It's not like, well, I could run away. You
Mhm,
can't run away because he had nowhere to go.
mhm.
He had to choose to fight the bear. And as gun owners, we need to know we cannot run away.
Right.
We cannot forfeit. Well, we'll give up our AR-15s when already before they even take our AR-15s, now they're talking about 9mm pistols.
Mhm.
So, they are the bear and they're coming after us. But, bears are powerful, but they're not as smart as we can
Right,
be.
they're powerful and they're scary. And, we are talking about peacefully, legislatively,
Right.
individually taking up our responsibility to start living out and asking and not asking. We're not asking.
Telling.
We are requiring our elected representatives to truly represent us based on the exact document. We're not pulling this out of, thin air, based on the document that every single elected official takes an oath to support. All
Right.
we're doing is saying, you
Do it.
gave it, right. You made an oath. Now live up to it. I don't know how this is controversial. I don't know how this is shocking. I don't know how this is, any way stepping out of our, comfort zone even, really. So one man can do, another can do. And the other side has been very successful at moving the needle way off the mark. It's up to you and me and you, Dan,
Yep. And
to
it's funny,
move that needle back.
the Second Amendment Foundation has to spend money and fight for what we already have a right for. It
makes
should
me
be
crazy.
the other side that has to fight if they want to change something. The Constitution's still there, folks. We still own the Constitution.
Yeah.
It says that we have a right to bear arms. Well, what part of that, in that 26 words, what part of that do you not understand?
It's
Why
27
are
words.
27. Well, I took one word out.
You did, because you
I
didn't
thought
say
but was
keep
in the
and
word.
bear,
Yeah.
right? So you,
I thought but was in there.
oh, no,
So-
there's
There's no but.
I've looked so many
Yeah.
times and it's not.
But the
There's no
point-
but and there's no asterisks.
The point
So,
is, we have those rights. They are rights. It's in the Constitution. You can go down to the Capitol and see that if you want to go see it, just to verify that it's not some kind of media junk. And anyway, so why are we letting them take that away from us? Why is a person that, is elected says they'll withhold the Constitution and then turn around and try to take our guns away from us? Nancy Pelosi and all
uphold the
these others.
Constitution.
Right. Why
Well,
is that?
I don't know, but I saw something come across. I should have read it better before I start commenting on it, but it was, I believe, the Crossroads of the West gun show, which is
Mhm.
huge out here in this part of the country. Bob Templeton,
Yep.
I believe, is who wrote this to the Arizona Citizens Defense League, which I'm on the board of, which is why I would have seen this. And I am pretty sure that it said that in Pima County, they're trying to, whoever the they is, right? They are trying to do away with us being able to have gun shows
That's Tucson.
in any kind of, like the fairgrounds or that sort of thing. And again, I should have been better versed before I bring it up, but this is the stuff that goes on. So
7 people again, maybe.
probably 7 people,
yeah.
right? And so it's like, well, if they can't get their way directly, right, then they're going to come around this way and in that back
Right.
door and in the window and rip the carpet out from underneath. And just like Alan was saying that in Cook County, is it Cook County? No, the Pennsylvania Appeals Court, they're trying to change zoning laws. So now they're coming after it with zoning
Right.
laws. And maybe that's what's going on in Pima County as well. But we cannot take a nap for a second because the tactics, they're coming at it from every possible direction. And where they're really trying to do things, the people that hate our rights, is to change things culturally so that it's either embarrassing to talk about owning guns or there's something kind of a little bit fringe or wrong with you.
Kind of like the vaccine thing, huh?
We're not going there today.
No, we're not. I'm not going. I
Um,
didn't. Did I say that?
No, it's true. They're
But it
trying
is.
to use negative peer pressure, whatever kind of peer pressure. And I was raised to not give in to peer
Yeah, they told
pressure.
us that in school. Don't jump off the bridge because everybody else jumps off the bridge.
And now we're supposed to jump off of bridges. Like,
But the
what
bridges aren't
changed?
safe as they are. Stay
It's
off the
true.
bridge.
It's
They
true.
need work.
It's true. All right. Well, we should get on out of here, but
Alan, thank you very much.
absolutely.
If it wasn't for people like him and the organization, Second Amendment Foundation, where would we be today?
Oh my gosh, I don't even want to think about it. But we very much value the work that everyone at the Second Amendment Foundation does. And Alan, thank you so much for taking the time to be on with us today. Thank you to our amazing listeners.
Yes.
We see you, we hear you, we are aware that all over the globe, if there is internet service, you are there and you are spending your time with us. And that is your most finite commodity. And we value that. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for tuning in and learning from our subject matter experts right along with us, right? We're
Right.
learning right along with you. And then you take these conversations into your spheres of influence around your dinner tables, in your carpools, at the kids' soccer practice, when you're sitting on the sidelines, talking with your neighbors. It's amazing. It's amazing. And I so appreciate it. I know Dan does too.
Yep. I
So,
sure do.
and if you like watching these videos in video form, then please go to our YouTube channel, subscribe, and hit the notification button. Everybody says smash it. And I say, put your pinky up and press it delicately,
They say
darling.
smash it?
Right?
They do.
They do. They say smash that notification button. but please subscribe. We have very few YouTube subscribers because for most of the time that Gun Freedom Radio has been alive and been a thing, we were a strictly live tertiary radio show.
Right.
And then we were an internet radio show, but there was no video component. And so we don't have very many subscribers, and we would love to see you start adding your name to our list of subscribers. Also, there is a very Second Amendment freedom friendly version of YouTube. It's called Gun Streamer. So gunstreamer.com, you can go over there. Again, please subscribe and ask to receive notifications. And there's a smartphone app called OpsLens. Our show appears on there. And so if you're on the go and sitting in an airport somewhere and you'd rather watch a video than
with your mask on.
With your mask.
Isn't that crazy?
Hopefully by the time this airs, is it
No,
possible?
it's going to take 3 years and
Go
it's going
away.
to take 3 years and 3
It
months.
would be so amazing if it would
3 years and
just
3 months.
stop. But you're probably right. Mark Dan's words. So the OpsLens smartphone app. And also, if you like to just listen to the audio only because you're out jogging, you're mowing the lawn, you're cleaning the house, you're driving around, whatever it is you're doing, you can go to our website, gunfreedomradio.com, click the on demand tab, and
binge listens to your heart's content, darling.
he almost looked exactly like me when he did that.
Yeah.
Right. And if you want to see every single guest that we have ever had on, even when we were strictly radio, there is a photo and a bio and links to the works of all these subject matter experts on our website. Just click the guest tab. It is a tremendous resource, and we don't hate it when you spend time there.
Nope.
All right. So until next time, Mr. Todd, what are we going to do?
I think we're going to pray for our nation.
Absolutely. Please.
And we're going to pray for our leaders.
Absolutely.
All of them,
Please.
Cheryl.
All of them? What about the ones I don't like?
Okay.
That's
No,
not...
you pray for them more.
Yes.
Pray that they'll change.
Just pray
for
them.
their wisdom.
Let God sort it out. Just pray for them. Right?
Sometimes we need to help God too.
That's true. We are his hands and feet. We are
Yes.
called to be the hands and feet. All right. So that's it. Until next time, be good to each other. Have a great week.
See you real soon.
See you real soon. And God bless.
Bye-bye.